guys, you're welcome to the first module of TMFC, the Millionaire Freelancing course. This section is actually designed to help prime your mind and help you build a rich and solid mindset about freelancing. Now, please do not skip this part of the course, as it is very essential that you go through this section before proceeding to other sections. Okay. Now, the very first thing we'll be looking at under having the right mindset towards freelancing is freelance is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Now, I know you must have heard this before. You might say this is cliche, this is old school, but I promise you it is not, okay? Now, there is no such thing as an overnight success. Now, we've heard of people who have made, lots of millions overnight, who won the lottery and all of that. But tell me, what are the odds that you are that lucky person? Just think about it for a second. What are the odds? Okay. You should know that excellent and pleasant things take time, effort, pain, and a lot of other things. But you should also know that you can achieve anything at all with consistency and the right mindset. Freelancing, like I said, is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? It is just a business model, just like others, that can help you live that dream life and become financially free. Okay, now when I say financially free, I actually mean being financially free. But something you should also know is that you must put in hard work, you must be consistent, you must fail. Now, yes, when I say fail, you must actually fail. You must feel frustrated, but you should also know that it is just all part of the process. Now, please don't get me wrong. I did not bring bad news here for you. It is possible to make over $2,000 in your first month. Okay, it is even possible to make over $4,000 in your first month. But you should also know it is completely normal to land your first job in 3 months or even more. But in all, only one thing is constant. If you work hard, consistently as a freelancer, being a millionaire would be just something like a walk in the park, okay? So please have the right mindset towards freelancing. Keep it in mind that it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Now, the next thing we will be looking at is employing the 9-to-5 attitude. Now, every freelancer, both old freelancers and new freelancers, always face the mirage of freedom with time. In the actual sense, this freedom to do whatever you want to do with your time, since you don't have an employer who directly controls your schedule, can actually be your undoing. Now, I'm going to quickly use myself as a case study for you. Now, in 2018, from 2017, I was working in an establishment. It's a 9-to-5 establishment where I go to work in the morning around 7 and I close by 5. Then I had people controlling my time, so I must go to work by 7. Even if I'm fine, except I'm just really sick, that's when I don't go to work. But I must go to work by 7 and I must close by 5. I had people controlling my time. I was disciplined enough to always go to work. Even if it's raining, you find me there at work, carrying out my duty and all of that. But forward down to 2018, June, when I actually quit the job to focus on freelance full-time, there was something I actually faced that was a problem. Now, this was someone leaving a space where my time was controlled to freelancing where I had the whole time to myself, and I was the one who decided when I worked and when I did not work. Now, I must tell you the truth because I'm human like you. The very first instance, I became lazy, okay? Indiscipline came in because look at the case where I could wake up by 10 o'clock in the morning, by 12, and then do work for just like 2 hours in a day, okay? And then I might decide to work or sleep or do whatever it is. Nobody tells me I'm going to sack you. Nobody tells me you must work for this number of hours. I decided all of that. Now, that thing in particular actually brought some form of indiscipline to my whole work life, to my freelancing business and all of that, till I had to employ the 9-to-5 mentality. Now, this is the same thing I want to, teach you and show you how you can accord this to your freelancing business. Now, like I said before, freelancing accords you full control of your time, which means you decide how that time is spent, you decide how long you work for, you decide how many days you even work for. So you can decide, okay, this week I'm just working for only 2 days, I'm just working for 3 days. It is completely up to you. But like I said, go back to my story. The bad side to this freedom is that it could breed indiscipline, and this could end your freelance journey right before it begins. I almost experienced it. I had to employ the 9-to-5 mentality to be able to keep my freelance business in check. The 9-to-5 attitude here refers to a compulsory work time commitment. You must make yourself, which means within that 9-to-5, you must make yourself available for work within those specified hours. Okay? Now, it also brings about discipline and work culture in the 9-to-5 space. Now, one of the ways that you can succeed as a freelancer, now, when I'm saying freelancer, you should know I'm referring to both old freelancers and even new freelancers. One of the ways you can succeed as a freelancer is to model the 9-to-5 attitude. You must model the 9-to-5 attitude. Now, please go back again to my story and learn from how I almost ruined my freelancing business at the beginning just because I left a space where I had control time to a space where I could control my time. So I believe you'll be able to employ the 9-to-5 attitude, and it will be a big step up for your freelancing business. Now, this takes us to the next step. You need the bad days. Use it to your advantage. Now, just like every business model out there, freelancing has its good days, it has its bad days, okay? So there are days where a client says, well, I don't like your job, and you know you spent all your time, in fact, you felt this job was so perfect. You've done everything you could possibly do, and the client tells you, hey, I don't like this job. There are still days that after working, spending so much time, putting in so much work, the client still comes to you and say, hey, yeah, I've seen your work. You spent a week, 2 weeks on this job, but I need a refund. Okay? There are still days you are going to submit lots of proposals and nobody would even respond to you. So it goes on and on and on. So having a prepared mindset that this is going to happen somewhere along the line is already a step in the right direction. How you treat these days, these bad days that I just told you about, will determine how well you succeed in the freelance journey. Now, in your bad days, you don't go about crying. Oh, of course, you can cry sometimes if that makes you feel better. But what you should do is that you need to re-strategize, have a reflection of your current working system, seek for ways to improve, and learn more. Now, this brings us to the next point, which is no comparison, no competition, only motivation. Now, please, I need to tell you something. As you begin your freelance journey, please avoid the temptation to compare yourself to other freelancers who are making big bucks in your niche or other niches. Now, the truth is this, as a new freelancer, even existing freelancer, you could check your freelance platform and then you see people that are making real money. Please avoid the temptation of comparing yourself to them. This comparison could indirectly trick your mind into thinking such successes can happen overnight, and this would lead to frustration, discouragement when it doesn't happen as you thought it would. You should also know, like I said, you are in no competition with any other freelancer in your space. As a matter of fact, you can also reach out to successful freelancers in your niche to learn a few things from them. I should also point something out to you that some of them will be willing to share, others would not be willing to share, but please don't compete with them. Try and reach out to better freelancers in your niche. The only competition you should have should be a healthy competition, which should be with yourself. You should always seek ways to get better than you were yesterday, okay? Now, you should also view other freelancers as pillars of motivation with the intent of zero competition, which means that when you see another freelancer who earns $10,000 on a job, instead of trying to hate such freelancer or trying to have a beef, be motivated. In some cases, try and reach out to them to learn what is it they are doing that is making them earn such amount of money. That should be a source of motivation. It should tell you that that is a possibility within the space. Now, this brings us to our next point, which is the abundance, big money mindset. Now, I know a lot of you would like this part where you heard big money. Of course, yes, the big money mindset. Now, it is completely impossible to achieve that, to achieve what your mind sees as impossible. You need to train and position your mind to be able to see abundance within the freelance industry. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because there's actual abundance in the freelance industry. And if your mind is not prepared for this, such abundance would not really be open to you. You could start off your freelance journey by just earning a few $100 monthly. You can even start off by just earning maybe $100 monthly, $300 monthly. You could also start off with just maybe an hourly rate of about $15 per hour. Now, what I've just told you does not mean you cannot earn more than that as you grow within the freelancing space. As a matter of fact, the freelancing industry is worth billions of dollars. Now, when I say billions of dollars, I actually mean it. These are verifiable facts on the internet, okay? There are lots of freelancers that earn thousands of dollars monthly. In fact, one of them is the one talking to you right now, with hourly rates of over $300 per hour, okay? Now, I'm going to just quickly tell you something. When I started freelancing, in fact, I think the very first job I had was, I think it was a job like that, $5 job. Do you understand? But then it did not actually stop me. Okay, I understood that the freelancing space had abundance in it. I grew from that section to earning 4 figures, do you understand, per job. And you could do the calculation and see how much that is. So now open your mind to the possibilities of being financially free within the freelance space. The reason I'm telling you this is it is actually very possible. So now the last point to be looking at in this module is freelance does not mean free. Now you should understand that the word freelance, the fact that it is starting with free, okay, does not mean that it is something you are coming to do for free. Now you should understand that you are coming to work. It's a business module. You are giving someone a service. You are offering a skill. And it is your right to get paid. In fact, when you don't get paid for what you do, it is no longer freelance. So the fact you have freelance, you have the word free, F-R-E-E, as the first 4 words of freelance does not mean you're coming to an industry where you work for free. Okay? So this brings us to the end of this module, and I'll see you in the next module.